My name's Ian Gould, and I'm President's Professor in the School of Molecular Sciences here at Arizona State University. The biggest problem, I believe, is that students just don't like general chemistry. And you know what? It's not their fault. The problem is that general chemistry curriculum was really developed in the 60s, even the 50s, and at that time, you could get away with general chemistry being essentially an academic exercise for students. That's not serving students anymore. Right, today's students, when they come to college, they want to feel they're going to contribute. They're going to contribute to society, or they're going to get a job, or they're going to feel like they have something useful to do. And general chemistry curriculum just hasn't kept up with that. So students don't need more chemistry. What they need more of is seeing how chemistry is relevant.
Welcome to the Institute for Telepresent Exploration.
This is a completely different way of teaching the subject. It doesn't just give them a narrative, it immerses them in that narrative. Right? It's not just showing them something, it's putting them in that place.
Let's get started.
So the way this works is the students will have a VR experience, like 10 or 15 minutes, and then they take that and then spend 2 hours in the lab working on materials connected to the VR. And when the students go into the lab after the Dreamscape, they will see a sample on their lab bench which comes directly from the narrative that they were in, right? That's something that no student has experienced before.
The only thing standing between us and a digital apocalypse, some salt crystals and a single hair. Thankfully, science allows us to turn minuscule clues into major revelations.
So by integrating the labs and the story, the students really find a need to know, right? They find like a need to what's going on in the lab because it connects to what they just experienced, and they know is going to connect to the next one too. So that increases the level of engagement in the lab in a way that just isn't possible any other way. Each module has explicit learning goals in mind, but we tend to emphasize those learning goals which are difficult to do in a traditional classroom.
Today, we'll be using X-ray fluorescence.
Let's take X-ray fluorescence as an example. It's not a typical general chemistry topic, but the reason X-ray fluorescence works is the very thing, the most fundamental thing a student needs to know about an atom is what identifies what an atom is. The identity of an atom is defined by the number of protons on its nucleus. That's one of the most fundamental learning goals for any student in general chemistry, and yet we can now support that in the VR by saying, yeah, that also allows us to identify different elements in the footprint of a suspect, right? And so it contextualizes the most fundamental thing, what is the identity of an atom, in a beautiful context, in an immersive environment. You know, beat that.
Greetings, fellow scientists.
I'll be honest, many of the faculty in the School of Molecular Sciences were skeptical coming in. Then we showed it to them, everything changed. You know, I had so many comments, this is so cool, I understand it, the quality of the science is high. Just one showing, the skeptic level disappeared, right? I would say right now, we have 100% support from the entire faculty at SMS, even though they came in with some skepticism. The combination of the VR, the engagement of the story, and what we're doing in the lab together has undoubtedly improved learning outcomes in what I believe are critical chemistry concepts. The students love it. You know, I asked them, hey, how do you like the VR? Oh, super cool. The word cloud is, cool, loved it, exciting. We put them in a position where they can see themselves being a chemist, contributing to common good, contributing to the good of society, and actually solving problems. And so those students who most feel not a part of chemistry, they benefit the most. And I know that to be true. I've had students come up to me at the end of one of the VR session and say, you know what? Those people weren't real, but they could have been real. They asked me in the lab, what's going to happen next week? You need to wait and find out.